Otto Anderson begins the film by purchasing rope from a hardware store where he goes to pay. He tells the cashier that he was overcharged a few cents for the length of his rope. Otto is renowned in his neighborhood for being grouchy and unpleasant, as well as a sticker for the rules, such as people leaving the gates on the streets open and having their parking permit dangling from the rearview mirrors. Despite this, certain neighbors such as Jimmy continue to reach out to Otto, despite the fact that he thinks practically everyone to be an idiot. On his last day at work, he arrives to find that his co-worker has given him a retirement party, but he does not go. Otto returns home to turn off the power in his residence. Otto is about to hang himself in his kitchen when he notices the new neighbor across the street clumsily attempting to back the U-Haul onto the street. Otto runs outside and encounters the Mendes family, which includes Tommy, Marisol, and their kids, Luna and Abby. Otto, in his grouchy way, assists the family with their automobile, then comes home to complete his task. He is interrupted once more when Tommy and Marisol arrive and hand him a dish of food that Marisol prepared. Otto accepts it and eats it, loving it before deciding to hang himself. As he prepares to die, he has flashbacks to his life, including recollections of his father, but the hook holding the nose snaps and Otto falls to the floor. He then comes upon an advertisement for a discount on flower bouquet. Otto takes the flower he purchased at the cemetery to visit the grave of his wife, Sonia. He speaks as if she is in his presence, discussing greedy real estate developers from a company called Die America, which he describes as a dying America. At night, Otto reminisces about himself as a young guy. He failed the army physical because of his hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, an inherited cardiac condition that Otto's father had died from. On his way back to Pittsburgh, he noticed Sonia dropping her book on her way to a certain train station. Otto pursued her down and discovers her.
Thank you so much.
Returning her book and sitting with her. He had already fallen in love with her, but he knew he had taken the wrong train. Sonia offered him some change so he could pay for his train ticket. She let him retain the change, a pure silver quarter which he still owns, and subsequently joined him for dinner. The next day, Otto encounters a Die America agent while driving down the street, as well as a neighbor he dislikes throwing pebbles at a cat near his house because the cat scratched her dog. Tommy and Marisol approach Otto again, this time with Salvadoran cookies and asking if they can use his ladder. Another neighbor, Anita, seeks Otto for assistance in recharging her radiator so that they can produce heat again. Otto reluctantly agrees on the condition that she return a garden hose they loaned her over the summer. Otto also has a grudge against Anita's husband, Ruben, for what he perceived to be a coup against Otto, and Ruben suffers from a malady that has mostly rendered him a vegetable with minimal movement. Anita claims that their son, Chris, has recommended putting him in a nursing facility. Ruben grabs the yard hose and hangs onto it as Otto finishes his job and tries to leave, but Otto wrenches it from his hold. Otto sits in his car in his garage, attempting suicide once more through carbon monoxide poisoning. He recalls his dinner rendezvous with Sonia as he prepares to die. Otto didn't order meals for himself, she noted. He admitted that he thought he had no prospect because he couldn't join the army and couldn't find a job, so he was prepared for Sonia to be done with him. But as he walked out, Sonia grabs his hand and kisses him in front of other guests who clapped for them. Otto then hears Marisol hammering on the garage door, requesting a ride to the hospital because Tommy fell from the ladder, which perplexes Otto, but he obliges her request. Otto sits with Luna and Abby at the hospital to read them a story in a hilarious voice, as they have started calling him Abuelo Otto, meaning Grandpa Otto. A hospital clown named Beppo approaches them and offers to entertain the girls. They request a quarter for a trick, and Otto hands him Sonia's quarter, demanding it back when he's through. Otto discovers that the clown exchanged the quarter and begins to physically abuse Beppo, causing Beppo to scream until the hospital personnel chastises Otto. Otto then drives the family home. Marisol discovers the cat near dead in the snow next morning. They warm up the cat with the help of Jimmy and Otto, and Jimmy takes the cat with him because Otto does not want him. Otto drives to the train station, recalling how he finished with a degree in engineering and proposed to Sonia. Otto marches towards the train tracks, appearing prepared to commit suicide there, but a nearby guy collapses and falls onto the tracks. While everyone else is filming the man, Otto jumps onto the tracks to assist the man in getting back onto the platform. He then waits for the train on the rails until another man pulls Otto back. The other customer regards Otto as a hero for saving the other man. Otto is later approached by Marisol, who hands him a painting made by Abby for him, in which he is the only one portrayed in color. Jimmy then arrives with the cat and declared that he had an allergic response to him, leaving Otto alone with the animal.
Hey, what about the cat?
He places the cat in a box and takes him to Sonia's grave, where he tells her about the cat and the Mendes family. Otto later encounters Malcolm, a teenager who delivers paper on his bike. Otto chastises him for it, but Malcolm explains that he knew Sonia as his teacher since she was the first to recognize his transgender status and calls him by his new name, inspiring the other teachers to do the same. Otto becomes friendly with Malcolm as a result of their shared recollections. Otto then decides to give Marisol driving lessons on his manual automobile. She is anxious and stalls frequently on the road, prompting a pickup truck driver to honk at her. Otto addresses the man, telling him to stop honking since Marisol is learning. He calms her down and assists her in continuing to drive. They wind up at a pastry store, which Otto used to frequent with Sonia, and he buys Marisol a Swedish eclair that he and Sonia used to eat.
I used to come here every Saturday at 1.
Otto tells Marisol about how he and Sonia felt when they first moved to the neighborhood, where they were best friends with Ruben and Anita. But Otto and Ruben disagree about their love of cars. Otto preferred Chevys, while Ruben preferred Fords. Marisol later requests that Otto look after Luna and Abby while she and Tommy go on a date. Later, Otto assists Malcolm in repairing his bike chain before being approached by Charles Kenzie, a social media journalist. She wants to speak with Otto about his rescue of the man who fell on the train tracks, but he refuses. Marisol returns and offers to help Otto clean out his belongings, including some old coats of Sonia's, but this irritates Otto and he angrily declines her assistance. Making matters worse, the Dye and Marika agent returns, telling Otto that they have a file on him, that he is aware of Otto's heart condition. Otto's heart begins to bother him, and when Marisol tries to help, Otto simply returns to his house and does not respond when she knocks on his door again. Otto walks to a firearm, he sees a Niagara Falls cap and recalls his worst memory with Sonia. She was around 6 months pregnant when they were riding the bus back from the falls and the bus crashed. Sonia became paralyzed and the couple lost their child. Otto suddenly hears a knock on the door and mistakenly pulls the trigger, nearly missing his face. He finds Malcolm at the door and asks if he can sleep on his couch because his father has kicked him out because he does not accept his trans status. Otto allows him to remain on the couch. Malcolm prepares breakfast and assists Otto with his neighborhood rounds in the morning. Otto and Malcolm are discovered by Jimmy, who informs Otto that Dye and Marika are attempting to evict Ruben and Anita from their home because they discover Anita's Parkinson's diagnosis, which she has not disclosed to anyone else. The corporation reportedly allegedly made plans with Chris to sell his parents' home, although Anita claims Chris hasn't spoken to them in years and has been living in Japan. Otto needs to make a phone call and asks Marisol to use her phone, but she refuses because he yelled at her and didn't answer the door for a long time, making her nervous. Otto apologizes and tells Marisol the truth, that he has been attempting suicide since losing Sonia, and he also mentions how he was kicked out as the head of the Homeowners Association for attacking one of the board members for not allowing Sonia, who needed a ramp, to go up and down the stairs, hence the coup. Otto knows who to call because Marisol lets him use her phone. The Dye and Marika agent appears, accompanied by a handful of his henchmen, to try to evict Ruben and Anita from their home. Otto had contacted Shari and her own crew in order to video Otto exposing the corporation for unlawfully collecting medical files on himself and Anita, as well as lying to them about being in contact with Chris regarding the sale of his parents' home. The agent tries to argue that no one could care for Ruben and Anita in their current situation, but Jimmy comes in and says they would because they are like family to him. The agents are subsequently compelled to quit due to further negative press. Otto collapses from a heart problem just as everyone is celebrating their victory. Marisol meets Otto at the hospital because she is his next of kin. The cardiologist informed Marisol that Otto has an enlarged heart, which makes Marisol giggle at the irony of someone like Otto having an enlarged heart. Marisol goes into labor a few moments later. She has a son named Marco. During the celebration for Marco's birth, Otto offers Marisol a crib he built for what would have been his and Sonia's boy as a gift for Marco. Otto then takes the family to Sonia's tomb to meet them. Otto then pays a visit to Ruben after assisting him and Anita in maintaining their home, and Ruben manages to grin. Several years pass. Otto presents Malcolm with his automobile and a letter, which he places on his bedside. He also purchases a new Chevrolet and brings Marisol and the girls to a pastry store. Tommy informs Marisol one morning that he noticed Otto didn't shovel the snow off his walk. When the two get at his house, they discover Otto dead on his bed, having succumbed to his heart problem. As Marisol sobs over his body, Tommy discovers the note he wrote to her. Otto reveals in it that he didn't damage himself and that he knew his time would come. He made plans with his lawyer to leave his house and money, as well as a cat, to Marisol and her family, which would help them put the kids through school and keep them afloat. But he tells Sonia not to let Tommy drive the Chevy, letting her know she's not an idiot. The family organizes Otto's funeral, which has a good turnout and includes people like Malcolm and Shari. Jimmy and Malcolm resolve to finish Otto's rounds the way he used to. Otto signed the letter Abuelo Otto, and the final photo shows him buried with Sonia. I hope you liked the movie. Please let me know the movie you want me to recap. And yes, I will do it for you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. See the next film.